If you are new, then subscribe my Chanel and watch full video. The morning unfolded like it always did. Quiet, predictable, and hollow. The alarm's soft hum at 6:30 a.m. once meant laughter, shared glances, and rushed kisses before the day began. Now it was only a reminder that Daniel was long gone before I ever reached for the empty side of the bed. The sheets were cold, his scent had faded, and only the faint trace of his shape remained on the wrinkled fabric. I sat up, brushed the hair from my face, and listened. Silence. Only the distant ticking of the kitchen clock echoed down the hallway, counting another day that looked exactly like the one before. I made coffee black and unsweetened and scrolled aimlessly through my phone. My screen was filled with strangers smiling, hiking, painting, traveling, living. I couldn't remember the last time I felt anything close to that. My life had become a loop. Work, chores, bills, repeat. Daniel wasn't cruel and he wasn't unfaithful. He was just elsewhere, buried in his laptop, always chasing another client, another deadline, another promotion. We shared a home but not a life. And after years of trying, I stopped speaking. Silence had become easier than disappointment. That morning, as I washed my cup and caught my reflection in the window's glass, I felt something unfamiliar. A quiet ache, a realization. I had forgotten the woman I used to be. The girl who painted sunsets on napkins, who wrote stories on the backs of receipts, who believed life could still surprise her. Somewhere along the way, she had vanished. Then my phone buzzed. An ad flashed across the screen. Find yourself again. Weekend creative writing workshop. Normally, I would have ignored it, but something inside me stirred a spark, a whisper, maybe even a scream. Before I could stop myself, I clicked register. All week, I kept it secret. It felt like holding a fragile rebellion in my pocket, something that belonged only to me. When Saturday came, I almost backed out, convincing myself it was silly, indulgent. But the thought of another quiet day at home, waiting for Daniel's voice from the next room, was unbearable. So, I dressed simply a white blouse, light jeans, and lipstick, the shade I hadn't worn in years. When I looked in the mirror, I almost recognized the woman staring back. The studio was tucked inside an ivy-covered brick building near the river. Inside it smelled of old paper, coffee, and rain. A dozen strangers sat in a circle, nervous but eager. Then he walked in. Ethan, the instructor. He wasn't movie star handsome, but he had a calm, magnetic presence. Rolled-up sleeves, messy hair, and a voice that carried warmth and steadiness. Writing, he began, isn't about talent. It's about truth. The kind that scares you. Those words sank into me when he handed out the first exercise. Write about a moment you wanted to change your life but didn't. My hands trembled for a long while. The page stayed blank. Then slowly the words poured out about Daniel. The silence, the invisible ache of being unseen. I wrote until my wrist throbbed and tears blurred the ink. When Ethan stopped by my chair, he crouched beside me and read a few lines. His eyes softened. "This," he whispered, "is real. Don't be afraid of that." His hand brushed mine, maybe by accident, but my skin burned where he touched me. For a heartbeat, our eyes met. No judgment, no pity, just connection. Unexpected, dangerous. During the coffee break, we stood by the window watching the rain trickle down the glass. We talked about writing, about art, about losing and finding yourself again. He told me about his failed marriage, about how teaching became his way back to life. Then he asked quietly, "Do you ever feel like you're reliving someone else's story instead of your own?" The question struck deep. I didn't answer, but he could see the truth in my eyes. When the workshop ended, no one wanted to leave. Ethan smiled as I packed my notebook. "You should keep writing," he said. "There's something powerful waiting inside you." Outside, the sun was setting, painting the wet streets gold. I stood under a streetlight, notebook pressed to my chest, heart racing. For the first time in years, I felt alive. On the drive home, I rolled down the window and let the wind rush over my face. I didn't know what had awakened in me or where it might lead, but I knew something inside had shifted. It started innocently, just a few messages after the workshop. Ethan asked if I'd kept writing. I told him I had, though most of what I wrote now was about him. The way his words lingered, the way he saw through me. At first, our messages were friendly, about books and stories. Then slowly they turned softer. His compliments slipped through the spaces between words. You have a rare voice. You make silence feel alive. I knew I should have stopped replying, but I didn't. Those messages became my secret oxygen. At night, while Daniel worked late, I'd smile at my phone beneath the blanket, my heart racing like a teenager's. It wasn't love, not yet. It was escape, a reminder that I still existed. Then came his invitation. Would you like to grab a drink this Friday? I told myself it was harmless, just a conversation. But the moment I saw him waiting, his smile, the way his eyes lit up, I knew that was a lie. The bar was dim, soft jazz humming in the background. He ordered wine. I ordered coffee. We talked for hours, and with every word, I felt something inside me breaking open. When he asked about my marriage, I told him the truth. That Daniel wasn't cruel, just absent. Our life had become a quiet choreography of duty and politeness. Ethan's voice softened. You deserve to feel alive, he said. Something inside me bloomed and broke at the same time. Our hands met across the table, and for a moment the world seemed to hold its breath. Then he leaned in. I didn't stop him. The kiss was brief, but it tore through years of silence. It was warmth, attention, desire, all the things I had forgotten existed. When it ended, I felt both free and guilty, light and heavy. I'm married, I whispered. I know, he said softly, and I shouldn't have. We sat in silence, the moment dissolving into air. That night when I came home, Daniel looked up from the couch and smiled faintly. You look happy, he said. Did you do something new with your hair? The irony struck like a knife. I wanted to scream to confess, but all I could do was nod and walk away. For weeks, I lived between guilt and longing. Ethan never texted again, and I didn't reach out. Yet every time I opened my notebook, I felt him there in every sentence and every breath. One evening, I finally sent a final message. Thank you for reminding me what it feels like to be seen. His reply came quickly. You don't need me to feel alive. You already are. That was the last time we spoke. Months passed. I kept writing. Truly writing this time. Daniel and I began to talk again. Not about work or schedules, but about us, our distance, our fatigue, our forgotten tenderness. It wasn't easy, but it was real. Sometimes when I sit by the window with my coffee, I still think of Ethan not as a mistake, but as a mirror, a moment that forced me to face myself. Trying something new didn't just change my life. It woke me from it. And though that memory still lingers like a scar, it carries a truth I'll never forget. Passion isn't about another person. It's about remembering your own pulse.